Good morning, Thursday, the 14th of May. Great to be with you again on our daily dose of encouragement as we seek to encourage one another and to stay in contact during this odd season which we're going through. Before I come to the verse I want to share, let me just give you a few notices, a few announcements about our YouTube channel. You'll have seen that we've come to the end of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, 17 chapters. Thank you so much for the feedback. Many of you have been following and enjoying. If you missed any, all the 17 chapters are there on our YouTube channel. Any problems finding a particular chapter, let me know and I'll give you the link. We welcome any other suggestions that you would like us to do on our YouTube channel. And particularly, we want you to know that if any church member has a thought to share, or a song to sing, or a verse they just want to point us to, then take your phone, video yourself. As long as it's not too long, just send it to me. WhatsApp it, 07800 836 758, or email it vicar@stmarkskennington.org. We'd love to include you either on a weekday thought or song, or in our Sunday service. We are so encouraged by the number of people who have tuned in, who've been listening, who've been involved. We know not every member of our church has access to internet, but those who do, it's been a really effective way of continuing to build some sort of sense of community and travelling and worshipping and fellowshipping together. This Sunday in our 10:30 service, we will be thinking about the ascension of Jesus. And we have a little prayer exercise planned, which involves bubbles, particularly for the youngsters, but not necessarily exclusively so. If you're able to, prepare yourself for Sunday by buying one of those little bottles of bubbles which you blow. You can get them in supermarkets. If there's any families or individuals or children who are unable to get any between now and Sunday, and you know you won't be able to for whatever reason, you won't be able to get out, or you don't fancy the queues, or whatever it may be, if you drop me a line or text me on that number I've just given you, or that email address, we'll do our best to deliver you bubbles. Yeah, we will stop at nothing to try and help you with this. Caroline has a really imaginative, as always, creative prayer exercise involving bubbles, and we'd love as many people as possible to be part of that on Sunday morning. So if you let me know, let's say by Saturday lunchtime, somehow I'll manage to put a little bottle of bubbles through your letterbox or leave it on your doorstep. So that's for Sunday as we prepare to think about the ascension. As I say, there's an open invitation for people to be involved in these broadcasts in different ways. Yesterday we had, as ever, a stirring, thoughtful Art Wednesday from Caroline. The other days this week, I've been encouraging us just to read the letter of 1 Peter, the letter written to Christians who were in exile. They were in a situation they didn't really want to be in. They were restless to get back to what they really knew. And so we identify with some of those sentiments, don't we? Chapter 1 was really saying focus on the risen Jesus. Chapter 2 had a lot to say about attitude to work, to those who employ us or to those we employ. Chapter 3 has a lot to say about home life and relationships between husbands and wives. Maybe there's some useful uh, pointers to how we cope in the domestic situation that we're going through at the moment. But in the middle of chapter 3 comes one of those golden gospel verses. You sometimes come across verses in the Bible which just in one sentence sum up the good news of Jesus. Maybe John chapter 3 verse 16 is the most well known. Romans chapter 5 verse 8 is another. You can look those up. But 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 18 puts it so beautifully. It says, "For Christ also suffered once for sins, the righteous for the unrighteous, to bring you to God." Somebody once said, if you were suddenly asked to preach, or you were suddenly asked to explain the gospel, you could do worse than just read that verse and say, here's the 3 points. Christ died for sins. That's what he did. That's the reason he went to the cross. He died for sins. Was it his own sins? Well, the next bit says, a righteous man on behalf of the unrighteous. Or some versions say, a good man on behalf of sinners. So point number 1, Christ died for sins. Number 2, he died as a replacement, as a substitute for us. And point number 3 is the last little phrase in that verse, to bring us to God. So what did Christ do? He died for sins. Why? Because he was a good man on behalf of sinners. Those of you following The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe would have seen that parallel so clear between Aslan taking the place of Edmund. And the Bible tells us that Jesus took our place, our punishment. And then the final phrase, as I said, is to bring us to God. What is the effect of the death of Christ? A good man on behalf of sinners, the righteous on behalf of the unrighteous. What is the effect of that? It's so that you and I can know a close companionship with God. We can walk with him. We're going to sing a lovely song. Epi, as ever, is going to lead us in a song. And it's that song which says, before the throne of God above. And in the middle of it all, it says, when Satan tempts me to despair and tells me of the guilt within, upward I look and see him there, who made an end of all my sin. Because the sinless Saviour died, my sinless soul is counted free. For God the just is satisfied to look on him and pardon me. That's really what 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 18 is saying.
Before the throne of God above, I have a strong, a perfect plea, a great high priest whose name is love, whoever lives and pleads for me. My name is graven on his hands, my name is written on his heart. I know that while in heaven he stands, no tongue can bid me thence depart, no tongue can bid